We're exploring the Saanich Peninsula on southern Vancouver Island. It's a small area, but there's a lot going on, as Chef Ali Ryan found out when she visited the Roost.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're a working farm.
Uh-huh.
You're a winery.
That's right.
You're a bakery.
Yeah.
You're a cafe.
Sure.
And a bistro.
That's right.
Have I missed anything?
Well, at times we have camps that Mr. Organic does, teaching organic farming and food sustainability. We have catering that we do, mostly I try to do it on site to show off the farm experience. That's what we're about here, is the passionate farm experience. And,
right.
And so anything that's, that we think of that have some fun with, that's what we do.
The farm is only about 10 acres, but they manage to raise sheep, chickens, and turkeys, and grow blueberries, apples, and other fruit, including grapes, for their own wine. They also grow their own grain, millet, and use it in their bakery.
So the fresh grain really does make a difference in the flour.
Oh, I laugh because when we first started doing the pizza recipes, we had looked at different dough and they said use fresh flour. And fresh flour, in that sense, I'm sure means, okay, it sat for 6 months in the distributor, the wholesale, you got it,
right.
And then in the shop. Well, you know, ours is that week or sometimes that day it's milled and used. So it really does create a very unique flavor profile as well as texture and just a whole round difference.
Oh, I'm salivating already.
All right.
The baking is done in this really neat wood-fired brick oven.
Could I try putting one in?
Absolutely. I don't have a lot of flour on there, but...
To the right.
Wherever you find room, we just got to have enough room for the baguettes in the front.
While the bread cooks, there's time to look around. And Dallas gets to demonstrate his rubber chicken cannon. Every farm should have one of these.
1, 2, 3, chicken! Oh yeah, that one's good.
Nice.
I wonder who gets to run around and collect all those rubber chickens afterwards. Visiting the Roost is fun, but it's the food that brings people back.
A big part of where people gravitate towards us is being able to see the wheat here, or the sheep, or the chickens running around, and the eggs. People recognize that is where my meal is coming from and get excited about it and support us that way. But also, you know, you're able to pick it when it's ready, rather than being picked 2 weeks earlier or a month earlier.
So fresh is best.
Well, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Talking of fresh, back at the bakery, the bread is ready, and it looks
Gotta have a
perfect.
sniff. Best smell in the world.
Yeah.
Delicious.
This week we're in Saanich. I'm gonna do some gourmet cooking right here on the beach, and I'm learning to kayak.
My instructor is kayak guide J.F. Marlowe, and he's also an expert at campsite cooking.
Okay, well, we're here on the beach. We've got our outdoor kitchen all set up. JF, you're gonna make us a cake, I understand.
That's correct, Steve.
And not a packet cake, you're gonna do a cake from scratch.
You know what? You can go the lazy way,
Yeah?
but let's do it the right way.
Let's do it right from scratch, all pure ingredients.
Let's do it.
Excellent, okay, I can't wait.
Excellent. So Steve, let's do that together. So take 1/4 pound of butter, please.
Okay, so 3.5 tablespoons.
That's
and
correct.
where are we gonna go with those? Into one of these
In with
bowls?
the butter,
In with the
please.
butter, okay.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, we're just basically melting the butter and incorporating everything together.
That's correct.
So JF, what's your background? Obviously you know your way around the kitchen.
I've been guiding and teaching kayaking for the past 15 years.
Right.
I was doing that in Quebec, East Coast and the Arctic.
Okay.
And at one point, I wanted to learn English. So I came here 13 years ago in BC, and I'm still stuck here.
Yeah.
And this is home.
Yeah. So in here we've got our flour, we've got our sugar, we've got our baking soda.
That's correct.
The chocolate and the butter and the water is just coming to the boil now.
That's correct. So now you can mix it gently.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. So how's that? I have to confess, I never thought I would be on a beach making a chocolate cake.
Why not? So very important to grease well your back oven. You don't want the cake to stick. This is the diffuser. Be aware to put it this way and not this way. Lots of people, they put it this way.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. Very low output. As low as you can. What takes normally 20 minutes in your kitchen will take an hour here. And make sure the back oven is leveled. That would be perfect.
Look at
Then
that.
you put this on top.
Okay, so we've got a lid again to trap that heat
Yes.
inside.
And you have a thermometer.
Oh, right,
It's
and
not
in the lid, okay.
super accurate, but it gives you a good idea.
Right.
Then we put this around to trap the warmth around the outback oven.
Okay. So now it's just a case of monitoring it and maintaining the heat in the right zone.
That's it.
Piece of cake.
Piece
No
of
pun
cake.
intended. No pun intended. Look at that.
And while the cake is cooking, there's time for a kayak lesson. This is my first time kayaking, and to begin with, I'm a little unsteady. It seems very small and unstable, but with a bit of expert teaching, I start to get the hang of it fairly quickly. I don't think I'm ready to try this just yet, though. After a surprisingly short time, I'm really starting to enjoy this. I wonder how the cakes are doing.
Well, let's check out the results.
Okay.
It's very hot.
Yeah. Look at that. Holy.
So it looks like a cake. So now we have to decorate the cake.
Okay.
So,
So we're not just having cake in a pan.
No, come on. So we have fresh strawberries and boysenberries. In the outdoor, to make a puree, it's very easy. Take a Ziploc. You put the berries inside with some sugar.
Yep.
Squish everything, make a little hole, and spread the puree.
I can do that.
I will do
Okay.
the rest.
That cake is awesome. That's just a beautiful texture. It's almost like a fudgy, rich. Okay, here we go. Little berry, little cake, little puree, little hazelnut. That's delicious.
Excellent.
That is delicious. That is a beautiful dessert.
The perfect thing with cake would be a cup of tea. But where can I get some in the middle of the Saanich Peninsula? Someone who knows is CRD Park interpreter Reed Osler, who has promised to brew me some forest tea. But first, we're off for a walk in the woods. The forests around us are stuffed full of edible plants. The problem is knowing which ones they are.
So this is salal.
Okay.
So this is a shrub, and this is the new growth here.
Okay.
It can
so
get
this is
quite
the same,
tall.
This is the same plant here?
Yeah, so this is the same plant, but it's older leaves.
Right.
And you can see it's been munched on by bugs.
Okay.
So we're not the only ones that like to eat salal, so do animals.
Provides for all.
Yeah, it does. And then this is the new growth here. So these are the leaves.
Okay.
So the main thing that's been harvested from salal is the berries.
Okay.
So they're not on right now. They're going to come in August.
Okay.
And the berries, they kind of look like a blueberry.
Right.
They're a dark blue color. And you can eat them fresh. They're really delicious.
Right.
Or you can make them into jam or syrup.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
We're talking about harvesting it, and obviously we can't have everybody coming in and ripping the forest to pieces, can we? So what are some good practices when it comes to harvesting?
The number one is respect. So when you're taking the plants, just respecting where you're taking them from, not taking them from parks or protected areas, but
Okay.
outside of those areas. Only harvesting a little bit of the population. So, you know, one plant in 20 or 5%. If it's a very rare plant and there's not a large number of them, you just wouldn't harvest because you don't want to totally wipe out that population. The other thing to remember is today I'll show you the plants and you might think you know what they are, but you need to be 100% sure that that's actually the plant.
To me, a leaf is a leaf. They all look the same, and I'm sure they're all completely different.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's important to be 100% positive
Yeah.
of what you are harvesting, and then obviously harvesting from non-polluted areas. So a lot of these plants, they really pick up anything that's in the soil, so any contaminated sites, busy roadsides, things like that, you wouldn't want to go there.
Just like we are what we eat, plants are what
Yeah,
they eat.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Berries and jams are familiar enough, even if this is my first taste of salal berry jam.
Okay, absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And not too sweet. Nice flavor. Real fresh flavor.
And I've even tried nettles before. But trees? Now that is something new.
Do you know what this tree is?
I'm going to say it's a fir.
It is a fir, and it's actually a grand fir.
Okay.
And one of the ways you can tell a grand fir is if you look at the needles, they're very flat.
Okay.
And I remember by comparing grand fir with grand piano. So grand piano has the long key and the short key and long key and short key.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you can see the needles. There's a short one and a long one and a short one.
So this is different than, say, the more well-known Douglas fir.
Douglas fir's needles will actually, it's more like a bottle brush, scrub
Right,
brush.
okay.
They'll go all the way around.
And are they edible as well?
They are edible as well. I tend to prefer the taste of the grand fir, but the new little buds of the Douglas fir, you can eat those as well.
So when you say new bird, this is what we're looking for, this light green, not the dark green.
So I use both. So if you taste, that's the new growth. And tell me what you think it tastes like.
It's very, it's almost got a little citrus note to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got a little bit of acetic acid. It's very pleasant. It's not at all what I would expect. When you think of fir, you think of Christmas, that really heavy pine sort of scent.
Yeah.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah, it's not like eating a tree.
That's right, that's right. That's lovely.
It's actually quite lovely. So some people will say it tastes like grapefruit or orange.
Yep, definitely citrus.
Yeah, so it is citrusy, and that actually gives away one of its nutritional benefits is it's very, very high in vitamin C.
Okay, okay.
So when explorers like George Vancouver first came to the coast, the First Nations taught them that they could actually eat grand fir to prevent scurvy.
Wow. I would even be inclined to put this in as a salad garnish.
Yeah.
To give it a little bit of crunch. It's got a nice texture to it.
Yeah, eat good.
Time to head back to try Reed's special forest tea and to find out what goes into it.
So here's some licorice fern root that I harvested. I just dried them in a paper bag and then store it in a jar. It's good if it's a brown jar or a dark jar, or keep it out of the light. So these jars I put in a box so they don't get ruined by the light.
Okay.
It also has a compound in it similar to aspirin.
Okay.
So the acetylsalicylic acid. So if you do have an aspirin allergy, this would be one to stay away from. In this pot, I put in about 3 like that.
Okay, just a few.
Yeah, and it's different every time. So this tea, it's not like a Tetley tea bag, right? Every time you make it, it's going to taste a little bit different because the plants are different.
Right.
So there would be ground fir needles in here, and you can use them dry or fresh.
Okay.
Today, I use them fresh.
Okay.
And then in this one today, too, there's some blackberry leaf.
Okay, cool. So this is grand fir?
Grand fir, blackberry leaves, and licorice fir.
Licorice fir,
Yeah.
okay. So, forest tea?
Forest tea.
Reed, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you.
I really like that. That's really nice. The licorice is very subtle and delicate.
Yeah.
And that fir, again, you got that slightly piney flavor, just very subtle, very delicate. That's lovely. That's really nice.
Yeah, so you could put more fir in it, and if it was dry, the fir would even shine more.
Yep.
I would say today I'm getting the licorice, some of that sweetness.
Really
there.
refreshing. Very refreshing. I like that a lot.
People are often surprised by how yummy it is, just from plants you can find in your backyard.
In the small community of Brentwood Bay, Ali is visiting Zanzibar, a local restaurant bringing some exotic flavors to the Saanich Peninsula. In the kitchen, Chef Mo is preparing tagine.
So this is the actual
Yeah,
tagine. This is true one-pot cooking.
Yes, you don't want 15.
Yeah.
You want all the flavor of everything goes in that pot.
Gotta heat up your oil.
Oh, yeah. We have black pepper, anise tea,
Oh, wonderful.
a teaspoon of paprika, ginger,
Delightful. So that already, that
Yeah.
sweet hot is being developed in the
and
spices.
tiny cumin. I can't live with no cumin. I love.
I
the
agree.
cumin. I love cumin. Just barely cover the chicken.
Okay. Coarse sea salt.
We're gonna dust the lamb here.
So you're going to use this lamb in a sweet tagine?
Yes.
Fascinating. So you're just searing off the lamb in that
Yeah,
beautiful
like
butter, olive oil?
Just as olive butter.
Yeah.
There's no olive oil in it.
Oh, okay.
The only spice you're gonna add is your cinnamon stick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whole that'll
cinnamon.
just
Yeah,
infuse in.
It's gonna infuse the lamb. We're gonna check out our chicken.
Oh, wonderful. Look at that bubbling away.
A couple of cinnamon stick in there. Now you just, what do you want? You want to cook the lamb till nearly soft. Because you don't want to add your sugar yet because it will harden the meat.
So nice dehydrated apricots.
Cup of rose water.
And I gotta say, this smells absolutely phenomenal.
The rose water is like secret of no fat. No, how many times do you see people using rose water?
Not very
enough.
often.
We have our chicken there, it's halfway cooked. And we're gonna add our olives. Our lamb is cooked.
It looks
like,
absolutely spectacular.
We're gonna take it off the gin dish because we're gonna finish our syrup, like fruit. Because it's dessert,
Right,
you're gonna have
of
half
course.
a cup of sugar, rose water in it, peel some pears and and added them to your apricot earlier. I'm gonna just add them there, add them in the syrup. And then I'm gonna add few silver almond in it. Okay, meanwhile, our
that looks
chicken,
spectacular.
the last touch is pure cilantro.
And yeah, you
The
just get
flavor is
all
like
those
crazy.
wonderful, like the cinnamon's coming out.
And I keep it just the way you eat it. But if I was eating it myself, I add a chili flake on it. I add a lot of.
That
like,
doesn't need anything.
Yeah,
that is perfect as it is. Just wonderful, rich and warm.
smells so good.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks,
and
sorry,
that's
mate.
salty from the olives with the sweet from the cinnamon.
Exactly, yeah.
And now, the curiosity.
Yeah, that's your. It's not every day you see this.
No. So, lamb for dessert.
Lamb for dessert, well. Oh. Okay, you don't have to speak.
I'm speechless. Oh, it's wonderful. It's like a bread pudding with meat.
Yeah.
Well, Chef Mo, you've blown me away. This is some wonderful North African cooking.
Thank you.
This week, instead of the Flavours kitchen, I'm visiting Saanich South MLA Lana Popham at her beautiful home, where I'm planning to prepare a simple dish using local ingredients and fresh figs from Lana's own fig tree.
So Lana, what we're going to do today, really, really simple, which is what I love to do because I just want the food to shine. We've got your figs, blackberries from my backyard. We've got granola that I've made up, which the recipe's available on our website. It's a very simple recipe.
I love granola.
And this is basically oats, 3 kinds of nuts, almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts. You mix together butter, sugar, and honey. Bring that to a boil, mix it all really well, put it on a baking sheet, give it about 45 minutes to 50 minutes in a low oven, and then bring it out, add all your dried fruit, and there you go.
Delicious.
It's really, and I have to confess, I actually use some maple sugar for this one, which just gives it that nice sort of mapley flavor. So, tell me a little bit about your role as an MLA.
Well, I represent Saanich South,
Yep.
50,000 people here, and I try and do that. You know, anybody who comes into my office, any problem that they have, that's one part of my job.
Right.
The other part, which I'm extremely passionate about, is I'm the agriculture critic for the province. So I travel around the province and talk to farmers, I talk to consumers, and I talk to foodies all the time, which for me is like a dream. I come from agriculture. I was a farmer before. So as far as working on policies around food production, I love it, and I think we need some work in that area in BC. So,
And are you seeing progress?
what's most hopeful right now is that we have, it's a different time for agriculture because the consumer awareness is so high around local food. So if we can kind of offer them as much BC produce as possible and make sure that there's an awareness of where you can get it, I think that brings some stability into the agriculture industry, and they really need it because they've been suffering for quite a while.
It's the food movement now, and we're seeing this groundswell rise, aren't we? It's becoming a much more prominent part of society. The public's perception of food, I think, is improving.
Before I did this job, I used to go into schools and talk about healthy food and healthy food choices and where it came from, just as part of being, you know, someone who believed so strongly that it's a really strong part of our domestic economy.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, it's a healthy part of our communities. You'll often hear now that the one part that's missing from agriculture is the culture. Our food culture is missing from agriculture. So I think, you know, policies around helping farmers make a living, but also policies that bring that culture back in.
Well, speaking of culture, how's that for a segue?
That's fantastic.
Our yogurt and our You like that? You like that?
I
Perfect.
did like it.
What we're going to do, we're just going to mix this a little bit, because what we're going to do is kind of soften the oats a little bit, just so they're a little softer. So what we'll do is we're actually going to use that bowl. I'm going to give you a mixing spoon.
I'm going to do a job?
You're going to do a job.
Okay.
And again, I don't want to put a ton of yogurt in. I just want to put enough in here. I say about 3 tablespoons. And just stir that through.
Okay.
And that's just going to bind it, bring it together. And as I say, just kind of hold it. And then that will soften it while we're grilling our figs.
That looks really good.
So I'm going to take these they just feel so perfectly ripe.
I just picked them
You can see
before you
they're
arrived.
just starting to, the skins are just starting to split. Okay, so all we're going to do with these is just cut them in half. Real simple. Figs are one of those foods that
They're
are just so
exotic.
They're exotic, and they're just so beautiful in their texture and their color. So I'll put 3 on there for you. I'll put 3 on this plate for me. And we'll just take these over to the barbecue.
Okay.
Now, if you don't have a barbecue at hand or whatever, you can always do this, you know, in a frying pan. And we're just going to put them face down, and they're only going to take a couple of minutes, just enough time for us to make our sorbet.
Oh my
This
gosh,
is really,
I've never considered doing this. This is very exciting.
So we're going to shut that lid, and then we're going to go back over to our blender and make our sorbet. So this is the easiest sorbet you've ever seen.
Okay.
Fresh blackberries, I picked them this morning. I threw them in the freezer on a sheet pan, froze them solid.
Oh, that's so smart.
And we now have frozen blackberries. So we're just going to drop those in. I did give them a wash before I froze them, or freeze.
Do you need to wash blackberries?
You don't need to, but these, for whatever reason, my blackberries have a lot of spider webs on them. I don't know why they attract so many spiders, but that's just about enough. Now, of course, you have the wonderful Victoria gin on your property as well.
I know, the Victoria Spirits Company is right in my backyard, and it's a delight.
So all we're going to do is really blackberry and gin sorbet. So just a slug in there, not a lot. We don't want to overwhelm it, but that's just going to. And then really simply, because of course
it smells great already.
It's frozen, so it's just.
That's
now, if this does,
what an idea!
If they're melted a little bit, you can just throw this back in the freezer. That's it. That's blackberry sorbet.
Fantastic.
We're going back to our bowl. Okay, they're done. They really are that quick. Just as I say, we don't want to, because they will. And we're just going to put them. So we're just putting a little heat into there.
That smells very good.
And we're just going to.
Wow.
So yours are actually better looking than mine.
Really?
I don't know. So you see the granola's just softened slightly. We've got a little bit of that yogurt in there to hold it. And we're just going to put that in the center.
The presentation is gorgeous.
There we go. And then we're just going to put a little bit of our figs, blackberries, granola, local blueberries, local gin. This really is a local dish, and I think we're just about ready to try. I think that's pretty good.
I'm speechless. It's so good.
Lana, this has been absolutely fabulous. Thanks. It's been an absolute joy and a pleasure.
Oh, it's been so nice to have you here. I hope you come back.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, I'll be back. Thank you.
Flavours of the West Coast is made possible by the generous contributions of the Victoria Pub Company, Country Grocer, and Fortis BC.